You don't know me yet, but I bet we have something in common. We all wish we were better functioning humans. Maybe figure out how to sleep better, have more meaningful relationships, cook more. That's Search for Practical Knowledge. It's my job at the Washington Post. I host a podcast called Try This. Every episode is like an audio class, and we learn together. I'm Christina Quinn. Now you know me. Check out Try This wherever you're listening.
I'm Rodney Williams.
And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break Podcast, a real conversation about finance.
Let's be honest. Building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone.
I feel like sometimes being broke is a cycle and that we might have to revisit that.
And we're not stopping at success stories.
What happens when it doesn't go right? How do you cope with it?
Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a life where you thrive and help others do the same.
Listen to the Wealth Break Podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on Instagram. We're going to start off with some fun tonight. A long time ago, someone asked me, Mo, who would be your dream interview? And I had to rack my brain. And I thought about it for a while. Then I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be Eddie Murphy. That's the one interview that I'd always like to have. And if you don't know the backstory, I have been trying for the fullness of my radio career to get an interview with Eddie Murphy. I have been met with a brick wall by the name of Arnold Robinson. I think we've met once in person. I'm not sure, maybe in passing. But Arnold Robinson is his personal publicist, and he's a point person for everything that Eddie does in terms of media interviews and such. And it got to be a joke where each time I reached out to Arnold Robinson, he would just instantaneously respond, or his assistant, someone associated with them. And the response would always be the same. Mr. Murphy's not available. But if you saw the email that I would send to him, it doesn't have a specific time, specific day. It's just to start the conversation as to how we could come to some mutually agreeable day and time. I would move heaven and earth to accommodate Mr. Murphy's schedule. And each and every time he comes out with a new project, I, probably against better judgment, still send Arnold Robinson at Rogers & Cowan, shout out, an email requesting an interview. Tonight, there was a press release which came out. Amazon MGM Studios unveils the premiere date, first look stills for action comedy The Pickup, starring Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson, Keke Palmer, and I think it also has Andrew Dice Clay, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's supposed to come out in August, okay? Now, in this business, we have this thing called long lead publicity, where you set up these interviews well in advance of the project so you can start stringing together a media campaign. Even though it's in August, there are other entities, I'm sure, sending in requests for talent at this very second, trying to get people like a Keke Palmer, Pete Davidson, obviously Eddie Murphy, Andrew Dice Clay, and others in an interview. So I scheduled an email for 7:15 p.m. tonight, which will go out to Arnold Robinson. The last contact I had is his assistant, an executive over at Amazon Prime Video Studios, Amazon MGM Studios. Who's that cat crying in here? and I CC'd everyone on staff. Mark Ronner, Twala Sharp, Stefan. Okay, you will see it. In fact, I'm going to read to you the email that I'm sending to Arnold Robinson and his assistant right now. Good afternoon, Mr. Robinson. I wanted to see if we could begin a discussion as to setting up an interview with Mr. Murphy regarding his latest project, The Pickup. And each email each year is almost like we've never been introduced. But anyhow.
Delete.
The conversation would be for my evening show later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640, the number one news talk station in America and number one stream station on the iHeartRadio app. True. My radio work is 10-time award-winning with the very best interviews in the business. Would be looking for 7 to 10 minutes via phone, or we could even do a special in-studio broadcast, which is simulcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Here is a video podcast episode, link from last night's show.
Mm-hmm.
And I go on to list the previous guests, which include people we've had on the show: Don Cheadle, Alfre Woodard, Cedric the Entertainer, Jane Lynch, Anthony Anderson, Courtney B. Vance, Rob Schneider. I'm throwing in comedians, names.
Yep.
Joe Morton, magician David Blaine, musician Danny Elfman, actors Delroy Lindo, Sanaa Lathan. This is all true story. Yep. Gabrielle Union, film director Kenneth Branagh, Vincent D'Onofrio, John Ratzenberger, Elliot Gould, William Shatner.
You should lead with Shatner.
Well, but I'm asking for a comedian. That's the thing.
Okay, you're on your own.
Well, it didn't help any other time, so what's it going to matter this time?
Oh, no, make no mistake. He stopped reading by now.
I mean, no, but you can't stop before you get to Pauletta Washington and Billy Zane.
Yeah.
This list is amazing.
And hundreds of others. I look forward to hearing back from you. And I'm thinking in my mind, I will hear back from you. Thank you for your time and consideration. And also put a link about if he needs more information about me. And it's scheduled to send in 4 minutes.
Now, I already have it.
Oh, then it's already gone out.
Yeah. I like, as you're reading, I'm reading along with you.
Okay.
I have it here. It showed up in my email.
Well, you know what that means. We should be getting a response from Mr. Robinson any moment now. In the past, I would get a response from him in like anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 or 3 hours. And they would always be the same. Thank you for thinking, Mr. Murphy. He's not available to participate. That's what it usually says. It's like, but I didn't tell you a day. I didn't tell you a time. I mean, can we at least have a conversation? So maybe for the next project, you might be more serious in considering me. To just say out the blue, he's not available. It's like, well, when is he going to be available? Is there a better time to call? Is there a better time to email? Do you need a picture of my family? Do you need like my photo of my driver's license? What is it I need to do to get past this gatekeeper? What is it I need to do to at least have legitimate consideration? That has always been the running joke in all of my radio career. I cannot even get past the front porch. Now, I'm not even to the door. I'm talking about the steps walking up to the front door.
Yeah.
This will be the dream interview. It doesn't matter. It's one of those things where it doesn't matter the project that Eddie Murphy's doing. You get a chance to talk to Eddie Murphy. It doesn't matter. I don't care if he's talking about, I don't know, his new McDonald's that he opened in celebration of National Hamburger Day. It doesn't matter. It's Eddie Murphy. So once again, we're going to try. And if we get a response during the show, we will read it to you. And if you know Arnold Robinson of Rogers and Cowan, shout out, reach out to Arnold and just let him know that this is a safe space. We want to interview the Eddie Murphy. And he does radio interviews. He does other media when he's promoting a project. I don't think it's personal because I've never really badmouthed him ever, not to my knowledge.
No, not on this show. Maybe on social media you went on a tear. I don't know. But
no, I'm being serious.
There's no reason. No, I'm serious. There's no reason why Mr. Murphy would not come on this program. And I will go even one step further, because when that final Beverly Hills Cop came out, we tried to go through the film company to get him on, and we're denied. So it's not even just, it's like Arnold Robinson saying through other outlets, No, he's not available. I just sent out, hey, and this was well before the movie even came out. This is like 2 months before, like, hey, we would love to have Mr. Murphy on. We have been talking about this film for a while. We are big fans. We got a response back saying, thank you. Mr. Murphy is not available at this time. And it's like, I'm like, at this time when?
What time did we didn't give you a
this
time?
Is 2 months back.
Yeah. And then you will find Mr. Murphy was doing interviews in the lead up to, and I understand. Radio is not as sexy as, let's say, if he went on with Jimmy Fallon or something. I get that. I just know that after a certain point, the gods of radio are going to shine down on me. You know, just once, just like the song, just once.
Now, see, now we've got a visual component with the magic of this YouTube simulcast. That may actually, you know, be more in line with what Mr. Murphy is used to.
I know someone who listens to the show or now watches this show is 1 degree of separation or knows Eddie Murphy, knows how to possibly put in a good word for us. Wouldn't it be something if we had Eddie Murphy in studio? I would love to just call that, just speak it into reality. I would love to just say, hey, we're going to make it happen. And even though Mark Ronner is laughing at me, you can see him. He's incredulous.
No, I just want you to be happy.
You know what I would be happy with? If we at least got past the steps leading to the front door and Arnold Robinson say, hey, I heard about all the things that you've been saying on your show. And I know that you have been consistent in your attempts to try to get my client, Eddie Murphy, on. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down with Eddie and go over his schedule and see if there's a time which will work for him. It may be very early in the morning or very late at night. And I've done those interviews. I'm being very serious. Where you have to maybe go to his house or something, or go to wherever he is. He might be on set or something, and then do an in-person pre-recorded interview. We'll work, you know, I would like to have that conversation where they would at least give you a genuine look-see and say, can't make any promises, but we'll see if he's open to it. So I would be satisfied with that.
You're saying you'd suck it up and go to his house? Is that what I heard?
Here's a true story. I have a mutual friend, you know who it is, Mike Midkiff, who we did the Labor Day car cruise.
Yep.
He put in Eddie Murphy's bowling alley in his house. I've tried every avenue possible to get an in with Eddie. So that means, to your point, Mark, yes, I would go to his house if that meant that I would get, let's say, 10, 15 minutes with him to talk about the pickup.
I think what you're going to get is a restraining order.
No, it's not. No, the
you don't
difference.
show up
I'm just going to
unannounced.
show up. Right. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Murphy, I'm outside.
And I've said this before. We have met in person. This was many, many years ago when he was married to his wife, Nicole. I was at Universal City. He and his family, they were watching a movie at Universal City, City Walk. I was going into the theater. He and his family were coming out. It was a late night movie. I did not blow up his spot. It's like, it's Eddie freaking Murphy. It's real easy to know who it is. And I very, you know, I would say politely and quietly went up to him, introduced myself. And this was before I was doing my own show. So I'm just a producer at this point. And we were trying to get him on the show I was working for. And he said, in his very Eddie ways, I call Arnold Robinson. So I said, okay, I know who that is, because there are other people that he represented. So I already had his contact information. We didn't get him on then. And that was the only time I met him. And very nice guy, very polite. There's no reason for him to remember me from that meeting. But ever since then, brick wall. Better known as Arnold Robinson. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere now.
You don't know me yet, but I bet we have something in common. We all wish we were better functioning humans. Maybe figure out how to sleep better, have more meaningful relationships, cook more. That's Search for Practical Knowledge. It's my job at the Washington Post. I host a podcast called Try This. Every episode is like an audio class, and we learn together. I'm Christina Quinn. Now you know me. Check out Try This wherever you're listening.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Last segment was talking about the quest to get Eddie Murphy on this show and all the history of the attempts and never getting even to the gate for consideration. So we sent an email out to all the appropriate parties at the top of the show. And if we get a response, because we usually get an immediate response of Mr. Murphy's not available to participate every single time. So we're going to see if we can buck that trend and hopefully get just a little more consideration. But there's something else we do need to talk about in the world of news. There is a heat wave which is on its way to California. We talked about how Antelope Valley, that is going to be in the hundreds this weekend. But the heat forecast is going to be even worse north of there in the other parts of the state going towards the Central Valley. In fact, it's going to be over 100 degrees in the Central Valley, the Sacramento Valley, the Sierra foothills, and other inland areas. And I'm at this age now, unfortunately, and especially you too, Mark. You have to really concern yourself
Watch
with
yourself.
this. No, it's true.
Tread lightly.
You're on the wrong side of 25, okay? So we have to just come to grips
And yet
with that.
I look younger than you.
Somehow, some way.
Okay.
Since we're past the age of 25, we have to be particularly careful when we go out during these very hot days, if you should go out at all, because 100-degree heat when we were 25, not a big deal. When you're Mark's age, it could be somewhat of an issue.
I'll come right in there.
The camera will follow you, so why not? You're welcome. Doors unlocked.
Okay. All right. You asked for it.
But to be serious, it's like you have to, this is for everyone. You have to be mindful of making sure that you've taken in enough water, that you're not outside in the sun for any extended period of time. And also if you happen to be a pet owner like I am, if it's 100 degrees outside on that sidewalk, it could be even worse for pets who are not protected. Is something that we have to talk about every single year, especially as we get towards the middle of summer. And we may not think anything of the weather, but next thing you know, you might have heat exhaustion and you're in the hospital, and you definitely don't want to do that. And people die. We always talk about how people die in the Midwest because of the extreme cold. The same is true when you have these type of heat advisories and you have these alerts about heat, which is going to be over the extended period of days or possibly even close to a week. So we're looking at triple-digit numbers in Antelope Valley, and it's going to be rather mild in Los Angeles and Orange County. But of course, if you listen to KFI, we are heard up and down the state. So with the Central Valley and Sacramento Valley, they're going to be getting triple digits as well this weekend. And me, this is another thing where I really do appreciate California. When they say it's a dry heat, yes, it is a dry heat. And Twally, you know as well as anyone, 90 degrees in California is not like 90 degrees in the associated humidity on the East Coast.
No, 90 degrees in Erie, Pennsylvania will choke you to death.
You'd just rather die.
You can literally walk outside, you feel like you're pushing on the air. It's so thick. You're not supposed to feel and touch the air as it's going by. That's nasty.
It's great if you're on the East Coast, or Cardisha, you would understand this just being from New Orleans. Let's say it could be 95 degrees and humid in the day. Walk outside around 9-10 p.m. at night. It is wonderful. Just wonderful. But the other 17, 18 hours of the day is just horrible. But yeah, I would prefer the dry heat, as they call it. But still, it's a dangerous heat. It's something that we have to be mindful of for not only ourselves. You should, if you have any elderly parents or if you have pets, you have to be mindful of them in addition to just yourself. So it's going to be hot this weekend generally, and it's going to be hotter and hotter as we move into summer. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, we have some real news to get to, how the DOJ has announced an investigation into trans athletes, specifically at one school here in California. We have discussed this issue for quite some time, but now the Trump administration is getting involved here in California. We'll tell you about it next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. It's Later with Mo Kelly, live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. Can we have a nuanced conversation? Take as much of the emotion out of it as possible. Understand that some conversations are complex, multifaceted, and oftentimes aren't dependent on only your politics. When we talk about trans athletes, I think that's how we should approach it. The DOJ has announced that a Title IX investigation into trans athletes, plural, in California girls' sports. Plural is important. They're investigating athletes, supposedly. And the DOJ is going to see whether the federal law of Title IX that bans sex discrimination in schools or educational programs that receive funding from the U.S. government is in conflict with California state law, which allows transgender girls to compete against biological girls. Tuesday, President Trump threatened to withhold federal funding from California over the matter after a transgender Harupa Valley teen qualified for the state girls track and field finals. A, not plural. That's important. Junior A.B. Hernandez will be the only openly transgender athlete competing at the CIF state track and field meet on Friday and Saturday at Buchanan High School in Fresno County. The only one, which goes back to the DOJ looking into trans athletes, plural, in California girls sports. And at this time, we're only talking about one. Here's the nuance in this conversation. And I was talking to some other people in the office about this earlier. Whereas intellectually, I agree that trans girls should not be competing against biological girls in sports. There's also a conversation to be had about, is this the correct use of federal resources to remedy it, to address it? I come from a time in which the Department of Justice was not used as an arm of the presidency and the particular politics of a sitting administration. There used to be a time in which there was a partition between anything the DOJ did and anything the president wanted. There used to be a time in which the president could not call for an investigation. Why? Because the DOJ, if need be, would investigate the president. There had to be that partition where the president did not guide investigations, call for investigations, interfere in investigations, but unfortunately, that time is no more. We should be able to understand the distinction between whether there is an issue with trans athletes, girls, competing in sports with biological girls, and that's separate and distinct from whether this is a meaningful and a rational use and marshaling of federal resources. Customarily, you would have a person, an entity withstanding sue the CIF or state of California, and then you'd have a case go up the ranks. And if need be, then you'd have the Supreme Court weigh in. And I'm not a lawyer, but I can look at this and say, if there are two laws which are in conflict, then you have the supremacy clause. The federal law wins out. You don't need to call it an investigation to see if these laws actually conflict. All you need, from where I sit, is an actual lawsuit, and then you let the courts do what they're supposed to do. But this, as I said, is an extension of the Trump administration and what the policies are of the administration and their priorities, not actually something which has gone in an organic way up through the courts and then possibly to the Supreme Court. Because I said on Tuesday, as in yesterday, President Trump threatened to withhold federal funding from California over this matter specifically. So this is a direct result of what the president is asking for. And maybe you didn't know how it used to be, where you didn't have a president involved in what the DOJ did. but it used to be like that. I don't know if it will ever be like that anymore, but it used to be like that. Think of it like this. How does Bill Clinton get investigated by the DOJ if he's controlling the DOJ investigations? How does Joe Biden get investigated by the DOJ if he's controlling who the DOJ investigates? How does Richard Nixon never resigns if he could control the DOJ investigations, the Department of Justice? That's why there historically has been a partition in between the president and the Department of Justice. Yes, the Attorney General is an appointee of the president, but the Department of Justice has always been separate and distinct from the president. That's part of the reason why there are different branches of government. There has to be some sort of separation for that reason, or otherwise the president is above the law. Oh, that's right. I forgot. The Supreme Court ruled that the president is above the law. So none of this matters anymore. But going back to trans athletes, I think we should be able to separate and at least have an emotional partition, which says that, yeah, I can actually agree with the point that is being made that you should not have trans athletes competing with biological girl athletes. I absolutely agree with that. But I also disagree with the means which are being employed to go about it. Because there is already a process in place for this to be challenged, for the state law to be challenged, for, let's say, the rights, if you will, of the biological girls who are competing, their rights to have their legal remedy, as it were, in a court of law. But that's not what's happening here. We have the DOJ, quote unquote, investigating at the behest of the president a state issue. You don't see like the contradiction there? The president, head of the federal government, telling the DOJ, which is supposed to be separate and distinct and partitioned off, telling the DOJ to investigate a state issue. That's where it falls apart for me. Because intellectually, I agree. In fact, recently, Governor Gavin Newsom, he caught a lot of hell when he went on the podcast, I think it was with Charlie Kirk, and said that he agreed that we should not have trans girls competing against biological girls. I completely agree and understand that, because we're talking about a level playing field, and you're not going to have a level playing field if you have someone who's biologically male competing with biologically female athletes. Because going back to Title IX, yes, it's to ensure a level playing field, and also sports set aside specifically for girls on the high school level and the collegiate level. This story is just getting started. And if you look at the bigger picture of how the DOJ is being used on college campuses, you can see it's being used as an arm of the president to enact the will of an administration, whereas that has never been done before, and especially not to this degree. It's one thing to say, hey, yeah, I agree on this issue, but you will eventually find that you won't agree on the issue. And then you have to remind yourself there's supposed to be a line of separation, demarcation, and a partition between the White House and the Department of Justice. And when there isn't, you have these constitutional issues happen. It's later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, we got to talk about National Hamburger Day. And yes, I had my hamburger for the day, and it was so good. It was in and out. Or I should say it was just in. It was just in.
Damn it! Now I got to get some.
Oh
tonight.
yes,
yeah. Thanks for nothing.
Look, I'm not your friend. I don't even like you. It was all I could do not to have like 2 or 3 burgers. I went to the In-N-Out. I'll tell you on the other side, but it was good. Oh, it was too much good stuff.
Can't wait to hear about this.
KFI AM 640. We're live on YouTube.
I'm Molly Roberts.
And I'm Drew Goins. Each Friday on Impromptu, we talk through the questions we can't stop thinking about.
Do we need to rethink how much we drink?
Why are companies really asking workers to come back to the office?
Does boycotting a business actually work?
Should we quit social media?
We're here when the news gets personal and the headlines hit home.
Join Molly and me every Friday on Impromptu from Washington Post Opinions.
Find Impromptu wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Instagram and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Later with Mo Kelly, live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. It's National Hamburger Day, and as I was driving into the studio, I made a detour. I said, you know what? I have not had any red meat this month. True story. Memorial Day, I was here working, didn't get the obligatory barbecue, didn't have any red meat. So I said, I'm going to have me a double-double today. So I changed my route, went to the other side of Burbank to go to the In-N-Out that I'd never gone to before. It's a very small parking lot. And I have a general rule. When I go to In-N-Out, I get out of the car. I park, get out of the car, and walk into the restaurant. I usually get to order my food with no waiting. This was no different. I walked straight in, walked straight up to the counter. No one in front of me, made my order, was out in like 10, 12 minutes. And they were a good, my number was 58, and they were on like number 49.
Was the drive-through line long?
It was about 8 cars long.
Okay.
It was, and it's hard to describe unless you've been to that In-N-Out. It's tiny. It's in a corner. There's only one line of cars. So it was a very easy experience just getting out of the car. Got my food, a number double, no onions, fries, no salt, pink lemonade. And I waited to get back here to eat it because I don't eat in my car usually. It was heavenly, Mark Runner. It was so good.
Thank you so much. It's great to hear about this thing that you enjoyed that we cannot enjoy.
No, you can. It's still there. It'll be open. I don't know, so maybe 1 in the morning or something like that. It'll be there.
I mean, I wouldn't want you to, maybe pick up any extra to bring in for your friends and coworkers.
Of all the times that I've already purchased dinner for you guys, of all the times,
that's a good point.
My job is to buy it. You guys are supposed to make the arrangements to get it here.
Well, I'm not talking about anybody's job. I'm just talking about basic low-level human decency here.
Of all the times
you want to taunt us some more about how much you enjoyed it? Would that satisfy you?
Yeah.
Was it really good? Did you
I savored every morsel.
Did he give you a little food, baby?
Oh,
did it?
Yeah, my stomach was distended.
Yeah, it still kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Did it make you a little pear-shaped?
More pear-shaped.
Too much good stuff.
It was wonderful.
It sounds like you really enjoyed it. I can only imagine how tasty that might have been.
It's not too late. National Hamburger Day is still going on.
Yeah.
If you go to Carl's Jr., now just say it with me. All these deals that I'm getting ready to tell you are tied into their app. Let's just get that out of the way. They want your data. And I'm thinking they would probably be more attractive for consumers if you made it easier for people. I know you want the information. You want us to sign up for this, that, and the other so you can send us coupons and everything. But if you say, hey, come by Carl's Jr. today, get a free burger between 3 and 5 p.m., I'm quite sure they have a line out the door. Out the door. But instead, rewards members who buy a famous star on the chain's app can get a second one for 1 cent. Too many hoops.
That doesn't sound too bad, though.
Still. Doghouse, we have one down the street. Rewards members can get extra points for ordering a house burger or a smash burger from sister brand Big Belly Burger. Oh, boy. See, it's not going to make anyone just run out and get it. It's like, I got to get that deal. Island restaurants. Reward members can get Big Wave burgers with fresh cut fries for $10.
God's sakes, why don't you just get a tattoo while you're at it?
Jack in the Box. You can get a free Jumbo Jack with a $5 minimum order on the chain's app just today.
Get out of here with that.
Norms. Rewards members can buy 1 hamburger or cheeseburger and get a second one free between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. Time running out. And the offer is only for dine-in only and excludes the value combo.
Is there any of these offers that come without just onerous conditions?
No, I'm being serious. Do they have Shake Shack in LA or just like Vegas? Is there a Shake Shack out here? I don't know. Oh, there is? Okay. They're giving away one free Shack burger with a $10 minimum purchase through the June 1st. Use the code BurgerMonth. Smash Burger. Single smash burgers go for $5.28 as in May 28th. Use the code JUST528 at smashburger.com. The Habit Burger and Grill. Loyalty members can get 2 char burgers for the price of 1 through June 1st. Use the promo code 2CHARS.
Loyalty members. What, you have to get branded? What's a loyalty member?
Well, clearly you have to sign up for something. That's all I can tell you. Wendy's. App users can get a junior bacon cheeseburger for 1 penny with purchase through June 2nd at Wendy's.com. Yeah, there you go. I just went to In-N-Out with no deal, no specific promo for National Hamburger Day, and I am very happy.
Listen, there is no hamburger altruism. It doesn't exist.
I do agree with you, Mark. I think if there were fewer hoops to jump through, the deals would mean more.
I got a Taco Bell app on my phone because you're supposed to get some rewards, and I was in a pinch a couple nights late after work. It's so irritating. I'm getting rid of it because it's not worth the constant emails and all the other stuff.
And that's why I hate signing up anywhere, because I know I'm going to get more emails than actual value or use out of it.
Yeah, same with Domino's. I think I got weak, and this is what they do. They prey on you when you're weak. I try not to eat fast food, but if it's late and you just are out of options, sometimes you just have to make a rough choice. The Domino's thing is so annoying. I don't need to get carpet bombed with emails. I'm aware that you exist, and I'm aware that you sell pizza.
I would rather you hit me just on my birthday or every once in a while, as opposed to, there's certain places, I'm not going to call them out by name, but there's certain places that'll email you every single day. They have 4 or 5 different marketing lists that you're on. And if you unsubscribe to that one marketing list, if you're not paying attention, you'll still get emails from the other 3 marketing lists that you never signed up for either. All you did was just buy something on a given day, and they automatically populate you on all those lists.
It's so obnoxious. I'd rather pay the extra not to get pestered constantly. Or just not go to them at all.
And that's not even including the whole thing. If you go to the website, you have to do the whole cookies and deny the marketing cookies and only the essential cookies. It's way too much involved. And it's almost like signing a contract that you never signed.
All cookies, no cream. You can't even read an article without having to sign up for extra cookies. It's like, I just clicked on a thing to read a small thing, and you want me to go through all this? We need some martial law. People need to die for this.
The more you know, the easier it is to avoid the idiots around you.
KFI
and KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We've all done it. You see a headline but don't have time to read the whole story, or there's so much news you're not sure what is worth your time. I'm Colby Ekowitz, co-host of Post Reports, the weekday afternoon podcast from The Washington Post. Post Reports brings you what's relevant and revealing. Breaking stories, politics, wellness, culture. Each episode goes beyond a headline for the context you need. Find Post Reports now, wherever you're listening.
I'm Rodney Williams.
And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break Podcast, a real conversation about finance.
Let's be honest. Building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone.
I feel like sometimes being broke is a cycle and that we might have to revisit that.
And we're not stopping at success stories.
What happens when it doesn't go right? How do you cope with it?
Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a life where you thrive and help others do the same.
Listen to the Wealth Break Podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.